Hello, welcome into another episode of Outlast Recap Show. This is the episode 5 recap episode. I'm Alex. I'm joined by Jen, as always. Welcome to the show, Jen.
Hello.
We will be doing what we usually do here and recapping episode 5 of Outlast, titled I Need Tums. This is not a brand deal. We're not sponsored, but if you know anyone at Tums, we'd welcome a sponsorship. That sounds great. So as always, if you haven't yet watched episode 5 or the preceding episodes, you should go back and do that. They're on the same YouTube page, and then you can come back and we'll give some behind the scenes insight into what happened. Episode 5's jam-packed. We've got the double tribal, 2 big players eliminated. Exciting stuff all around. Was there any particular moment or storyline that stood out the most to you?
Yeah, I think big thing is Orange just dwindling this episode.
Sure. Yeah, they had 0. Every original Orange player was still in the game going into this episode. Yeah.
And then, but overall, my main highlight would be a couple of things. Anna's crash out.
Right.
And Elizabeth throughout this episode. Really tough, I think, for her.
Yeah.
Anna's her best friend, but also she's trying to play the game and keep Abby.
Yeah.
And so she wins immunity. I think it's a really big episode or like big moment for her, while also being a really hard moment as her best friend is getting voted out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all valid. Anna's, response to finding out that she's on the chopping block is, the biggest, most exciting, interesting thing that happens, I think, without a doubt. I remember, I wasn't at the camp when this started. Mm-hmm. And, getting, the radio messages of, stuff's going down over here. People are crying. There's, yelling. And I'm like, uh-oh. What's going on? Better go check on that. As we say in the episode, this is what makes these sorts of games, or even competing in general, I guess, but maybe more heightened in a game like this, where your social, relationships are central to it, of it's vulnerable to lose, and to want to be good at something and to ultimately not do as well as you'd hoped is hard. And so, Anna's obviously pretty broken up about it. And it creates a lot of fun stuff in response. So
then the other big moment is Ty also winning immunity.
Mm-hmm.
And then figuring out he's in the bottom of his alliance and getting a plan together to blindside Cody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as I was watching it, I was trying to remember who was going to get voted out. And I was, thinking I know it's not these people,
right.
But I don't think it's this person yet. And so it was really fun to watch how it was put together. And only at the very end are you kind of clued in that, there's this really quick at the end plan that comes together, and then it does come together. And as the votes are coming in, you're like, is it going to be 2-2-2?
Right.
What's happening here? You can see Dan just losing his mind,
right.
sitting
in
immunities or in tribal council. So, and then, I think it was just a really good couple rounds.
Yeah, I think the way, the editing of it, does kind of represent how it happened in real time too. It was a last minute thing where Ty, at the buzzer, basically pulled a couple people aside and tried to flip the plan. We'll hear more about next episode about players talking about how that happened and what it means to them. But yeah, like you said, Ty got a vibe from Cody that he's not a central part to what they have going on, and took an opportunity in a small tribal with immunity himself to like try and shake things up. And Anna finds herself kind of in that swing vote middle position yet again, which can be a really good spot in a game like this. If you're, we just watched 49, like Sage kind of rode that to the end, right? Of like always being the swing vote. So yeah, whether intentional or not, she's found herself in consecutive tribals here, kind of being the one with the finger on the scale. Yeah, Ty makes the move and positions it to her, but they still have to cast the votes, and she's even from the beginning, and then again at tribal, like talking about which alliance do I want to strengthen, like which alliance do I want to go with, which is probably rattling and unsettling for other players to hear, like when you're counting on her.
Right.
But yeah, 2 straight votes now that she's kind of flip-flopped, which can be a good thing sometimes, can be a not so good thing other times. So we'll see how that all plays out. Before we get into some recap, reaction, behind-the-scenes stuff, I want to talk a little bit more about the eliminated players now that we're a few episodes into the game and Last Chance Island is out of play. These players are officially eliminated. We can start with Anna, who was tons of fun, as evidenced by her like naming of a third of the episodes that she's in. Was really fun on camera. Obviously played with like a lot of emotion and heart behind the game. Yeah, we're really glad that she was out there. I knew that she was a gamer coming into it, and those types of players either do really well or they flame out really hard. Unfortunately for her, it was the latter, but what was in a semi-powerful position, I suppose, up until this point. So yeah, anything you want to add about Anna in the game?
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed her being there and getting to see her on screen, and her confessionals were so good and just added a lot to the cast. And I love like her one-liners almost of I need Tums, I'd love to be back at the very end, red flags, just really great at being in this environment, but while simultaneously like fully crashing out in the environment as well. So
she left it all out there,
which I appreciate. And I think going in, I was also curious, like, how would she do? Would her and Elizabeth get to team up? They end up, swapped together, but ultimately it just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And I think this just shows that, outside relationships, it's not always going to pan out.
Yeah.
In having some sort of alliance in the game.
Yeah.
Because ultimately Elizabeth had to go with Abby and that plan.
Yeah.
Because that's ultimately going to take her, she's hoping it's going to take her farther.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. Like, in Elizabeth, we've kind of steered off track here, but that's okay. Like, Elizabeth tries to pitch Emily instead of Anna, right? Like, you see it in the episode. But she doesn't push it so hard that it draws suspicion on her, right? So it wasn't like she didn't try. It wasn't that she didn't try to save Anna. She just tried and it didn't find any footing, and so she acquiesced. But Anna was great. Cody, of course, the other eliminated player. I think Cody has the highest ratio of this point to like people saying his name to I don't know, actually being in the forefront of things. It's like his threat level got so high so fast, whether it was whether it was like the one vote that Orange went to, or the way that he, I don't know, the type of gameplay that he presented to people beyond that, or some combination of that. But yeah, it's like the first kind of slaying of a giant in this season so far, where a big power player is eliminated because they're a big power player, right? Like, everybody else to this point hasn't really been pegged that way. Maybe Sky, when she's voted out. She's of course back, but that was probably more about her being hard to work with in some people's eyes than it was being like a big threat. So yeah, Cody was like also such a gamer. Like, people clocked him correctly. Like, he is really, really skilled at like talking to people and presenting a plan and staying, a few steps ahead, but perhaps was just a little bit too upfront or visible with that and caused his threat level to really get too high.
Yeah, I think Cody was one that I felt blindsided in that vote that he was getting voted out, because I didn't see the conversations, was at that tribal, and all of a sudden he's out. And, I was disappointed, or even watching it now, it's like, I would have loved to have seen what could have happened with Cody and Hannah in the merge.
Sure.
If they could just, and what would that have changed about the entire game?
Yeah.
Just have no idea.
Right.
But again, the threat level was really high, so it's inevitable. Could they have even gone that far?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hard to say. But it is really disappointing to see him get out, see Anna get out in this one, but it made a really good episode.
Yeah.
And I think, as I've shared, was partial to Green kind of going in, or like as the weekend started kicking off.
Yeah. We saw a lot more of them at Tribal to start. So.
And so, you're sitting there like, oh my gosh, like, Abby's in such a bad spot. And then she gets through another one, her and Elizabeth keep persevering through it. So it's really interesting to watch from this side of it, because I'm curious what next episode looks like. But it's like they're kind of sneaking through, and at what point does their threat level start to...
Right. Yeah, no, it's good from like a macro perspective too. Yeah, it's going into this episode, the 4 players that have been eliminated, well, 3. Yeah, 3 players that have been eliminated were all green. And if everything goes chalk this round, you'd expect it to be 2 more green. Like, you'd expect Abby and Sam or Dan, right?
Yeah.
Which would have been, the first 5 players out are green, but both of them flipped the other way, which is really big for the whole picture of the game going forward, evening things out, but also really pointing to the Orange tribe. I think the like antsiness that we've been seeing this whole time of them like ready to do something. And it's totally part and parcel with like how actual Survivor works. When there's a tribe that doesn't go to tribal, they want to vote each other out because there's been stuff percolating for a long time.
Yeah. Or even is it like how quick the game is going that they don't have as deep of ties to one another? Like, they did spend all day together, but then they're at this point where they're like, we want to play. It's basically exactly what you're saying. But it's because they think they're even saying that. Like, they're like, just because Emily said this, just because we just met them doesn't mean we are going to vote them out.
Yeah.
And I just think that's such an interesting perspective. Yeah. I think it's really helpful to Abby and Elizabeth.
Right.
But it doesn't fully make sense to me why go for Anna when it's such a clear...
Yeah, like, seemingly easy.
Yeah.
I think, like, again, next episode we'll get more from Isaac in particular. I think Isaac had a lot to do with this vote. But, like, yeah, I almost see it as, because it's almost more surprising that it didn't do the obvious thing because things are moving so quickly, right? Like, you would think, like, okay, not a ton of time. What's the easy vote here? Abby, like, knock it out, done, easy, we move on. But, you know, even still with that, they were able to wrangle up something different. I think, like, the explanation we get in the show from people with Anna is, like, a perceived, you know, like, connection to Cody and Hannah, again, coming back to that. But then also, like, Isaac talks about how maybe the way that she played that first vote didn't really instill a lot of confidence in him going forward to be able to work well together. Like, you saw, and you see it in the show too, like, Anna, when they're walking in, is, like, asking Emily who she's voting for, right? Like, there's still some indecision there. And again, like, I think Anna's really smart and a great player, but between that one and then this one, the pre-tribal council experience, if you were counting on Anna, you know, I think that's valid, that it doesn't necessarily instill confidence.
Yeah. And I think on the other side too, you have Abby, who can have conversations with these people who she doesn't have ties with, and, you know, make them feel really comfortable, make them feel confident, and say, you know, they do want to work with her. And she kind of gives them what they want to hear to feel comfortable to say, yeah, we do want to work with you over Anna.
I think Abby plays this, like, perfectly, like, in that once... this is my perception of what I saw, but, like, once she sees the ball rolling on Anna, it's like she just steps all the way back. And it's like, just let it roll, right? Like, and then once Anna starts flipping out, she doesn't insert herself. Even when Anna calls her out of tribal council, she doesn't even rebut. She just lets it roll. She sees the way that things are going, and it's beneficial to her, and she doesn't get in the way of it, which is, I think, a really hard thing to do when you know that you're the other likeliest outcome. To, I don't know, I would probably want to be like, okay, but are we sure? Like, are we positive that's going to happen? Like, what can I do? You know, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, she lets it happen. And I think that was the best thing to do in this situation, and it works out for her.
Yeah, and I think she read Isaac and Emily well, and that they didn't respond well to Anna doing that. And so she's not going to do that. She's going to remain calm. She's going to say what they want to hear, and ultimately gets to stay in the game and keep her number one alliance, Elizabeth. While strengthening new relationships with Orange.
And I think, like, the other note I had with this is it really does... while this vote was primarily, like, the other Orange players doing, like, you know, Elizabeth and Abby's ability to at least ingratiate themselves to the point that they're not the easy votes here, I think is worth mentioning too, as, like, well played, as a good skill. Like, if they came over and were less socially adept, it would be even easier for them to just, vote out the green people. But they made them, the other Orange players, want to work with them, right? Like, they made themselves hot commodities rather than, you know, just the bargain bin stuff that was going to be disposed of.
Oof.
Did you like that analogy?
No, I hated it.
Why?
They're not part.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're not. But if they, you know, played it poorly, then they could have been.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the challenge, and then we can come back to other stuff that happened at Orange here. Challenge. This was one that we were always going to do. It's just such a simple challenge, easy to engineer. but pretty much a direct like 1-to-1 replica of what's on Survivor. So like they're using golf balls, as you can see. We switched to ping pong. This was one that we underwent a lot of testing on to like find the right ball. Ping pong ball was too hard. Golf ball was maybe a little too easy, but I don't know, worked well enough. Ideally, I would have had like a billiards ball or something like that, but I don't know. That might be impossible to save on a plank that small.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was all right. I think we felt the pressure of it taking a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But I think this is one that's supposed to take a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's more endurance related than, I don't know, speed or strength. So
yeah, you're right.
I think it's always, if we wanted it to be quick, it would be the ping pong balls and it would be bing, 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 bing.
Yeah.
And not super fun to watch. This was one that was fun to watch in person. It's kind of a little hard with the getting everybody in one shot.
Yeah.
Like logistically, but I think, it's happening in the morning. The sun's kind of a factor here for some players. You've got Adam being a menace while still somehow maintaining it in there for a long time, which just somehow feels right for him. Yeah. So, I think this was a lot of fun. I like the endurance ones. I like the ones that last a little bit longer, or the puzzle, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, Adam's commentary was funny. It was fun in the moment, fun looking back. Like, I do feel like it did, like Abby in particular, I feel that she was rattled by the yapping. I don't know if others were or not, but it was fun and did kind of get a rise out of Hannah and Cody a little bit too, like trying to press them on what they told to the other tribe. Yeah, I always wanted to do a double tribal here as well. I think this was a great spot for it, where tribes aren't extremely small, but there are several rounds before we throw something in like this. Just an easy way to, obviously take 2 out in 1 round, so that we've got more time down the line.
Yeah, especially, first day, it's like you get 3 out, but really it's only 2. And so now we have all day today. You have to go pretty quick to get some, 9 players out.
Yep.
So it's helpful in that regard too. I think it's also, they weren't expecting it, which is fun.
I think once they walked in and they saw the arena, they clocked that it was an individual challenge, and they expected it at that point, but I'm not sure going into that they would have.
I don't know, Dan still seems surprised, but Dan's just maybe perpetually surprised.
Maybe. Or he has just the best surprised reaction.
Yeah.
So, of course, Elizabeth and Ty win their respective tribes. Cody was really close to saving himself here with immunity. He made it down to the wire with Ty. And
that's a bummer with the ping pong balls for him.
Yeah, I wonder, like, there's a few variables here. Like, if he wins that, there's a couple of them that maybe we'll talk about when we get to that tribal. But, like, if he wins that, do they do the same flip on Hannah instead? Like, I kind of don't think so. I kind of think they go with the plan.
Yeah. And Sam's out at that point.
Yep. And then the other thing is, like, if they don't, we'll talk about it later, but if they don't do the split and just put 4 votes on one of them, they could have, like, still forced a tie, but maybe at that point it's not worth it. So anyway, a lot of revolving door stuff. Sky finds her second idol. So if you remember, this is the thing from Last Chance Island, where if she retrieves the bead from behind that skull mask, she gets an idol, which she has done. So now Sky has 2 immunity idols. Sky's got 2, Elizabeth has 1. And Sky's going into the, meat of the game here with 2 idols in her pocket.
Yeah, I think it's really fun to see her get both of those as she was voted out early, and people just kind of don't know what to do with her
Yeah.
and Adam. But they still are kind of somehow. It still was somehow that Cody and Hannah were bigger threats than them. They're just more chaotic.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's really fun that she has two idols. I also am just so curious if anyone saw her get the bead, because she was doing that for what seemed like a very long time.
Yeah, it was a long shot.
And no one was there, that we can see.
Right.
And so I'm just like, what were people doing?
Yeah.
Or what did they think she was doing?
Right.
Because at that point, it does kind of look like she's fixing it. Because at first I was like, is she like retying the string? But I'm the one who placed the idol, so I literally know what she's doing, but I'm still somehow confused. Because I'm like, why is nobody around her noticing what she's doing?
Right, yeah, it's a good question.
But, yeah, at that point, that's like the only thing that they didn't tear off from their camp. And so that's the only thing that we could put the bead behind. Was a skull mask, because they had torn everything else off.
Yeah. James Clement walked so that Skye could run with two idols.
Yeah.
I got two idols on Survivor. Okay, the only other things I had from that green, or the orange tribal rather, was was there a way out for Anna here? Like, do we think there's a counter plan that once Elizabeth tells Anna what's going on, is there another alternative plan that could have worked? My only thought is like, I think that Isaac and Emily are gone from her. Like, I don't think that's a salvageable relationship. And so getting the votes on Abby would probably be challenging, because Elizabeth's not an option there. So really it would just be like her, Skye, and Adam, and that's not enough. Instead, I wonder, like, do you flip it on Isaac or Emily? Like,
yeah,
could you get Elizabeth, Skye, and Adam? That's 4, which is enough to put it on Emily or
Abby.
Isaac.
Yeah,
and Abby, right.
And I think, my thought is maybe the only shot is getting it to Emily and pulling the Anna.
Right, her sister.
Her sister's there. Her sister maybe flipped
Her sister's
already.
working with Cody now.
Yeah, she already flipped with the green. Like, she's not trustworthy. But I think...
And we see that she, like, has a working relationship with Skye, too, right? So there's that inroad. Yeah, I don't know.
But I don't know. I think, again, it's like, should have had to have gone about it a completely different way.
Right.
And at the point that you're that escalated, or you're trying to... Yeah, I don't know. It's like at a certain point, it's like everybody's wanting to vote for Anna.
The ship had sailed
at a certain point.
Once she started.
Right. But it's also like, when she kind of figured it out, it was already kind of set.
It was set, but like, can you go to Skye and say, hey, I know it's on me. Like, let's go Emily instead. Like, you get Adam, I'll get Elizabeth and Abby. Mm-hmm. Emily's the bigger long-term threat here. Like, I want to work with y'all. Emily's going to flip over to work with Anna, who's working with Cody. Like, I think that maybe that works, but I don't know. It's a steep hill to climb up either way, but I don't know. I think that's maybe the only option.
Yeah.
The other thing from this is the last ditch effort, which you see Skye kind of consider, is to convince her to play an idol on her. Do you think there's any merit to that from Skye's perspective? Like, that would have been a valuable move?
I think Skye says, like, what do you have to offer me?
Yeah.
And she's like, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
Like, I need you need to offer me more.
Right.
I think it's a really smart way to say it too, instead of just like, no, I don't want to play my idol for you. It's like, I need you to bring more than just one person that you maybe have.
Yeah.
Who's also said that they would vote for you. Right? Like, it's like, it wasn't strong enough.
Yeah.
I just see no world where Sky plays an idol for anyone but potentially Adam.
Sure.
And even then, I'm not convinced that she would do that.
Yeah. And like, I think Sky, you know, her read plays out correctly too. And that, you know, you hear in the episode, Anna's like denying throwing out Sky as a name several times, but she does say that. Mm-hmm. She does pitch that to Abby. And I think she mentions it to Isaac too earlier in the episode. So like, you know, it's correct of Sky to not want to save a person who's using her as like as a potential target. So that's the thing, folks who are playing. You can lie, and that's all part of the game. But once the episodes come out, you can't keep the lie up anymore because it's on tape. So there's a limit to it.
And I mean, maybe are you getting to green?
Yeah, we can move on to the green vote.
Because I was just gonna say, like, Cody really thinks that Hannah
was the
flipped on him too.
Yeah.
And Hannah voted for Dan.
Yeah, afterwards, Cody was like obviously shook by it. He was totally blindsided, and he was like, yeah, we were talking, and he's like, because I didn't know what happened at that point either, because like that conversation was so last minute. He's like, either Hannah or Ty flipped on me, and it's like, it was Hannah. It had to have been Hannah. Like he was pretty certain that Hannah had. Obviously it's not. It's Hannah is voting with him, and it's Ty. So yeah, he was didn't see that coming for sure.
Yeah. And then he has an off-camera crash out. They all kind of did at a certain point. Yeah.
From here on out, if you know you've invested enough emotional, mental energy in this, that it's valid to crash out if you lose. I think.
One thing I do want to say about Anna that I did love is that she gets voted out early on day 2. And she's like, I'm going to go home to my kid. And then she's like, okay, I'm going to stay a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to keep watching a little bit longer. Yeah. And she's like there most of the day, like watching and helping. And she's like, okay, finally, I have to go before it gets dark.
Right.
Like, you're like, okay. But yeah, it just kind of, it was like, yeah, it is really fun to watch.
It is, yeah.
While she's also like simultaneously like, Elizabeth has an idol and Sky has 2.
Yeah.
And she's finding these things out as she's staying, and we're like, shh, we're like, if you stay, that's fine, but you cannot say anything.
Yeah, you can't.
And she's like, okay, yeah.
Don't throw us under the bus.
Yeah, but she's also like upset.
Right.
I do love the moment with Anna where she's like, they're dead to me.
Right. Yeah, it's funny. Okay, yeah. From this green vote, then I think the biggest thing to talk about here is, so Cody's plan here is to split the vote on Sam and Dan. So they have 6, whereas Orange had 7. So it's 6 here at this vote. So they're planning to set up a 2-2-2 tie and then revote and vote out Dan or Sam, or either a 2-2-2 or a 3-3 if Sam and Dan vote for one another, which I think is probably what would have happened. And so my biggest wonder about this round here for them is if Cody doesn't set up the split and instead just says, all right, we'll put 4 on Dan or something because Sam maybe has the idol. We'll put it on Dan. Mm-hmm. Does that... I think then the move doesn't happen because Ty has to get 3 to go with him instead of just 2, unless you force a tie. And then if you force the tie, it like gets really hairy really fast. So I think maybe the misplay here was being a little bit too aggressive with the vote split.
Yeah.
For a situation where, you know, it's out there, like maybe Sam has an idol, but I don't know if anybody actually thinks Sam has it.
They were looking at him pretty intensely as you were like...
So maybe they do. And it's, you know, when we talk to Cody, maybe he'll say like, yeah, we were pretty sure he had it or something. In which case it makes sense. But if not, like, I think the fatal flaw here is splitting the vote.
Yeah. I don't love that as a strategy, but I also get it's like you're at a point where it's hard to get majority. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm not in their, you know, in their position, but I don't love it when it's like, okay, we're going to go 2-2-2. Mm-hmm. And then revote.
Yeah.
I just don't love that.
Yeah, and obviously didn't play out well for them here, but would have been the right move if things held strong and if one of them had an idol, right? So, yeah, just maybe too much confidence in the rest of the group that Cody thought was going to be voting with him, where that confidence was misplaced because, you know, obviously they didn't hold to it. Yeah, Dan does unfortunately miss the vote on this one too. So that's, you know, 2 weeks here in a row where Dan's mouth is on the floor in the second to furthest chair at a Green Tribal Council, where the person next to him is being blindsided.
And he's simultaneously being blindsided as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Dan definitely kind of like struggling to find footing at this stage in the game. Like, not trying. Like, he's trying hard. And as you see this episode, like trying to throw stuff at the wall. And he ended up not really being much of a target this week. But he also was, you know, left out of the plan, which can't feel good. So
yeah.
Yeah, and I also have to ask if the green end seat is cursed at this point, because we've had four green tribal councils.
Yeah. Jake was on the left.
Yep. And I think every person who's been voted out of a green tribal council to this point, except for Jake, has sat on the very far right end. So, I don't know. If you're superstitious, maybe for future seasons, you don't want to sit on the end. You don't want to be the first one in. Yes. Which, I don't know, maybe there's something there. Like, maybe everybody else, you know, you let the person who's going to be voted out go in first so you can kind of talk behind their back or something.
Yeah, but they're not allowed to talk.
They're not allowed to. They're not allowed to, but you can glance or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just found it funny. I noticed it this time when we were watching it for the first time, that if you're on that end seat, it's not a good spot. Okay, anything else from this episode that we didn't touch on that you would like to comment on? This is a really fun episode. Like, both tribal councils are so entertaining. Both votes are very impactful. Was really happy with how this one all came together.
I'm excited to hear from Cody.
Yeah.
And if Anna.
Yeah, I've got Cody on the books, so I can pretty confidently say when we're done wrapping up this segment, you'll hear from Cody, and I'm trying to get Anna too. So you'll hear from one, maybe both eliminated players here.
Yeah,
shortly.
I'm excited to hear from them. I think, you know, even more as they've like talked to everyone. I think, you know, it's maybe going to be a little hard. It's hard to not do spoilers because we all know how it ends, but I think really fun to hear from them and their experience. And I also just wish, I think there's a part of all of this that as you're watching, you know, it's just impossible to get everything captured.
Right.
Because it's like, I think there's probably so much more from Cody that we didn't see.
Yeah.
But, like, you could hear it from everyone how hard they're playing, like, Cody and you know, so it's just, like, I don't know, I, like, at the end of this episode was like, if only we could have got all of it, you know?
Yeah.
But that's kind of, we're doing the best we can.
Yep. It's movie magic. All right, let's move on to our players of the week, which are now officially called the Gertchie Awards.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for the naming of the award.
Now, for this one, it has to be one person. Can't be like two, because there's two tribals.
Yeah, you pick one.
Okay. And I pick first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, who stands out to you as most deserving of your Player of the Week award?
This is really, really tough for me. I'm really in between Abby and Elizabeth and Ty.
I think there's probably, like, in my mind, there's 4 different players that you could reasonably give this to this week.
But I will say, I'm just going to make a decision. And this is the point where I'm like, go, Elizabeth, go. You get it, girl. Because she is my favorite type of player.
Sure.
So I'm choosing Elizabeth.
All right, Jen.
Because I'm like, she can also win challenges.
Yeah.
What can't she do? And faced with the dilemma of your best friend.
Yeah.
Like, tough.
Yeah, great point.
And you can see, like, on her face at Tribal how hard it is on her. And so...
yeah, definitely.
She really played really well this episode.
Yeah, totally fair. I think, the...
Runner-up, Abby, and Ty.
Yeah, I think Elizabeth winning the challenge is crucial. Like, it's a thing we haven't even talked about, but, like, maybe she's seen as a bigger threat. If she doesn't win that challenge, maybe they vote her out. Like, could have very well saved herself by winning that immunity challenge. And then, presented with the opportunity to, the temptation to do something crazy to save your friend, your IRL friend. She rejects that temptation and does the smart game thing.
I think a reason why I don't pick Ty is because I think I was here for this Tribal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Ty, shut your mouth.
Right.
Stop talking about how big of a threat you are.
Yeah.
Because especially now, knowing that he's, like, orchestrated the plan for that Tribal, too, it's like, shh.
Yeah, like, you wonder, like, is he saying anything that everybody else isn't already thinking, right? Like, maybe
but
not.
Don't say it out
but
loud.
Yes, but don't give people an excuse. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, of course, referring to when he's like, yeah, I've played an idol and I've won an immunity idol or an immunity challenge. That kind of makes me a threat, huh? And it's like, yeah, why are you saying that? Like, you're doing yourself no favors. Yeah, I think Elizabeth's a good pick. I think Abby's a runner-up for me as well. Like the reasons we talked about, she survives a Tribal. She plays her position well. I think Isaac is a runner-up for me as somebody who's really pulling the strings on this vote for Anna. I think he is kind of the impactful voice to make it happen, and he gets his way. His reasoning comes next episode, but his kind of strategy of I'm just going to make as many friends and as many connections as I can, I think that's valid. I am going to give mine to Ty, though, because I think his work of winning the challenge not only protects himself, maybe he wouldn't have been in the crosshairs, but it keeps it away from Cody. And then he puts together this last second blind side. He tactically picks the right people to loop in. He gets just enough to get the job done. I think identifying the moment is the biggest thing here. Realizing, okay, it's a small Tribal. They're splitting the votes. All I need are 2. And we can take out a huge target who has just told me I'm like tertiary to his plans. I think the right move at the right time, really big. Yeah, didn't necessarily love his Tribal Council performance, but I'll overlook it. for the sake of the move and give mine to Ty.
Also, he is a really great narrator.
He is. Yeah, he's really good at telling the story of what's going on. And then, of course, Anna names the episode I Need Tums. This one, there were like 5 options for what this episode could have been titled. There's My Blabbermouth. Dan says that. I thought that was funny. There's They're Dead to Me as an option.
Anna.
Yeah. A lot of good options this time. Okay, that'll do it from Jen and I. I should have the eliminated players, or at least one of them, coming here shortly. So you'll hear from me talking to them in just a moment. Before I get to it, I'll remind you, of course, to subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't. In the description's a link to the email list if you want notifications of Outlast news and when new episodes come out that way. Just follow that link and subscribe to it. And that'll do it from us. You'll hear from the eliminated players next. Okay, thanks for listening. I'm now joined with Cody, who, of course, one of the 2 players eliminated this episode, to give his takes on what all happened. Cody, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I've been very excited to touch base.
Yeah, I'm just to catch everybody else up. Cody was unable to attend the premiere party, and so I think this has been festering for you for months now. I imagine
it still stings when I hear the words "he was eliminated from this episode."
Yeah,
I still have a physical response.
So now is finally your time to
right.
say your piece.
No, thanks for having me.
Of course, yeah. So I guess first thing here, what's been your reaction experience to watching the show here so far? Obviously you experienced it in real time, but then you see different things on the show than you experienced out there. Maybe you see a different perspective. Yeah, just overall, I guess, what's your experience been like so far watching?
Yeah, I've had such a fun time watching the episodes. I've had a couple watch parties with friends, including even last night, because we were waiting for all 3 to be released to watch them all together.
Yeah.
And man, yeah, it's so fun to watch back. I think the most maybe interesting, or the different perspective of it all is just as soon as we finally we lose the challenge. It's just being able to see all the conversations behind the scenes, and just I wasn't able to touch base with a lot of people after the episode or after the show.
Right.
So I didn't know, who was actually going to stay loyal, what kind of, who was driving some of the votes behind my back. So that was really fun to watch people's different reactions, and those side conversations that I obviously wasn't a part of. So that was really fun. And just to see the other tribes dynamics, because we had none of that, right?
Yeah.
We got the tribe swap, a little bit. So I got to see some of their tribe members, but that was neat too, just to see their other dynamic.
Were there any conversations that happened on the Orange tribe or even your post-swap tribe that you saw and were totally a surprise to you that really changed your your understanding of what was going on, seeing it?
Of course. Yeah, they're all top of mind. Number one was because one of the things I've regretted since the show, as kind of mulling around in my brain, was not initially going with Sky and Adam, even though they were both such loose cannons. I was like, what if I should have gone with them from the beginning? The 3 of us could have just tore it up. But then hearing how they were talking smack behind my back the whole time, I was like, okay, that was a good choice, Cody. You did not go with them. So that was funny to see that. And second one was, I don't know if this was gameplay or if this was real, but Isaac, after the tribe swap, he was one of my original alliance. Myself and Hannah, he was talking to somebody on his new Orange tribe, said something to the effect of, if Ty was smart, he would flip on Hannah or Cody, and that would eliminate one of our problems. And I was like, oh man, that hurts. But then I was like, maybe he's just trying to, get in with the new tribe. But I was bummed by that. I was like, dang. But
yeah, I found that interesting too. I really do feel and we can talk about this here, but Isaac read the sentiment of man, Cody and Hannah are being painted as the instigators here. So
Yeah.
it really made a conscious choice, and I think probably a smart one to like distance
Sure,
himself
and for
from
sure.
you guys
And
there.
that for
Yeah.
me, that was the third thing and final thing I would say as a surprise
Yeah.
element was how quickly that was clocked. You even
Yes.
said it in the recap of episode 3, I think. I wasn't prepared for that. I knew that because of the kind of post show rumblings on some phone calls and
Right.
talking with players and debriefing.
Right. Right.
I knew that was the case, but in the show and in real time, sorry, I had no idea that people clocked Hannah and I that early.
Yeah.
Had no
Yeah.
idea.
That's a big thing I want to talk about because you and Hannah are like the ratio of the amount of times people say your name to what you are actually doing in the first like four
Yes.
or five episodes is huge, you know.
Yes.
And I do think like it's not all ill founded. You watch episode 3, and you obviously were a pretty key part in
Sure.
making the Sky vote happen. But
Sure.
like, yeah, why do you think your threat level like got so big so fast? Is there anything you can like think back to or identify there?
Yeah. I mean, I'll start by saying I was so surprised to hear that after everything wrapped up because, when you get cut early, you're left wondering so many things. So, like,
Yeah.
one of the first questions I asked, it may have been Abby or somebody I was on the phone with, I was like, please tell me I was voted out because I was a threat and not because I was,
Yeah, yeah.
just a throwaway.
Uh-huh.
So that was the first, kind of thought process I had. But then, after thinking about it for weeks and seeing some of the episodes and hearing some of the feedback, this kind of goes into my list of mistakes that I made pretty early on that I had
Sure.
prepared for our conversation today. One of them, what that Jen had mentioned on one of the post recaps was, sharing early on right out of the gate about my auditions.
Yeah.
I laugh at that because it was such a quick passing comment that I did not even
Right.
think twice about making, didn't even cross my mind. Felt like I wasn't even playing the game yet. So
Yeah.
that was a key quote that a lot of people I think latched onto because it's so early in the
Interesting.
game, right? So people are going to look for
Yep.
anything to latch onto to target somebody. So I think that was a big mistake I made sharing that bit of
Yeah.
information. And then there were a couple other key bits of info that I had shared in terms of building trust with my Orange tribe that I think maybe have painted myself as a target. So I
I
think
see.
so that was a key thing of maybe some of the information that I'd shared. And then I think naturally I'm just a people person. So I'm going to build
Sure.
relationships quick and I love to connect with people and make them feel really known and seen. And, that part of me just comes out so natural.
Sure.
And I think it can work really well on one hand, and it can also be seen as a threat on the other. So I think the combination of those things were probably, a big part of that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was curious about your opening Matt chat comment. I'm glad you brought that up because
Yes.
I also wondered like, did people see that immediately as like a I don't know, a thing to look out for? So it sounds like they
Right.
did, and
Like
yeah,
they
I
all
do
just put a
think
little
like
flag there, like, oh, that's interesting.
right, right, yeah, they will remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I think the clocking of I'm glad you brought up the other part too. Like watching this stuff back, man, like you are really great at the social gameplay, right? At like talking to people and you whipped some votes together like really expertly. And so the clocking, it was an accurate clocking. Like you were really good at it, just maybe in a way that was a little bit too noticeable, right?
Yes, correct.
And so, like, yeah, I don't think it was an ill-founded assessment. It is interesting and funny to me though how quickly you and Hannah kind of became like the public enemy number ones. You know?
Yeah. I mean, truly, it's funny because, and we'll get to this in a little bit because that's another big mistake I made later on that
Sure.
actually very specifically led to me being blindsided. But
Yeah.
I think what was funny is, post swap, it made sense that we were clocked because at that point, Sky came back. She was heated. Her and Adam
For
now
sure.
became me and Hannah's biggest rivals, right? And I heard
Yeah.
on that side of the camp, they had just started running me and Hannah's name through the mud just to have a public enemy. But I think what surprised me the most was looking back at some of the confessionals from like the first round and the second round, right? We hadn't even gone to tribal yet. And there were some comments made about yeah, me and Hannah's game. You know, Sky made it, Adam made it,
Yeah.
and even Anna, I think, even made a comment that early on.
Yeah. Yeah, one of my favorite early early season moments is when Adam and Sky are talking, and Adam's like, "Yeah, Cody trips me the fuck out." Like
Yeah, dude,
that.
we all cracked up, all of my friends and family watching that.
It was
So
really funny.
funny.
It is really interesting, like on that tribe particularly, right? Like I think the Orange tribe, there's a mix of a few folks that are like total gamers and a few folks
Hmm.
that are kind of figuring it out on the fly, right? And so
Hmm.
I almost wonder if like the people that are the gamers, like you and Hannah and Adam and Anna, like because there was some initial antagonism there, like it
Hmm.
became just so easy for y'all to point at each other
Yes.
as the people who knew more about the Survivor format or were more interested in the strategy side of it, as opposed to someone like Ty, who's maybe more focused on the like physical and social side, or Emily,
Yes.
who's and Sky, who are kind of figuring it out on the fly, right? So I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's a good thought. Anna surprised me a little bit on the strategy side because in real time, I did not think that she was a strategist.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Or, but looking back, I was like, oh, you really were going around and what? Yeah, she bigger personality than I thought. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
when you guys listed the big personalities on one of the recap podcasts,
Yeah.
when you put me and Adam and Sky, I was surprised. Had I not watched those episodes, I would have been really surprised that you included Anna on that. But then
Yeah.
after watching those final two episodes, I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, there was a
Yeah.
lot that I missed
You
going on
did miss
behind
a
the
lot.
scenes.
You did miss a lot this particular episode, episode 5, and she was great in
Oh my
confessionals. She
goodness.
did a good job of keeping
Oh,
it so
such a good
confessional.
storyteller. And
Yeah.
yeah, yep.
Let's talk about the swap here. So
Okay.
you kind of pull a coup off in your first round. You're down 4-3
Correct.
in the numbers from previous tribal lines, but then you're able to pull Anna in. What was your feeling at the swap like before Anna flipped? Did you feel pretty dead in the water, or were you hopeful that maybe there was a crack there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was right down the middle. Like, I
Yeah,
mean, I had no doubt in my mind that it would be an orange given the numbers, right? You have to assume
sure.
it's going to be one of us, right? They're going to be green strong. But again, my social strategy mind was already running, rampant as soon as the
Yeah,
swap
yeah,
happened. And so thankfully, I didn't have to work that hard because two reasons. One, Anna had offered a name pretty quickly. Um, Episode 4 would have aired already, right? So
yeah,
we can talk about that one.
yep,
Okay.
yep, yep,
So, yeah, so she offered David's name
yeah,
pretty quickly. And secondly, I was able to tell Anna that Emily and I had built a relationship over on the other
yeah,
side.
yeah. That's
So I
good.
was able to use that relationship as well because Emily and Anna had approached me at one point.
Yep.
Um, and so yeah, anyways, those two pieces helped kind of build that with Anna to get the votes onto David
Hmm.
and to get me, Ty, and Hannah keep us safe.
Yeah. No, that's really smart. Let's talk about this isn't on the list, but I had the thought to at,
Please.
between that round and this current one, right? Like the interplay between you and Ty, I think is really interesting, and then ultimately he's the one who kind of takes credit for making the move against you. How did you view?
Hmm.
Yeah, how did you view Ty in your relationship in the game? Was he somebody that you were interested in working with closely, or was he kind of just a number? I'm interested in your side of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This will bring in my other mistake that I had
Sure.
listed out. Yeah, to be honest, I liked Ty and I
Hmm.
really thought we were going to work together. Um, uh, in watching this latest episode, the most shocking piece of the whole episode for me truly was Ty's comment that
Mm.
how he received our conversation
Yeah.
about Hannah and I. And so one of my biggest mistakes in this one episode was that I made Ty feel like an outsider to
Right.
Hannah and I, which truly, I mean, yes, Hannah and I had that alliance, but in no way in real time was I intending to make him feel that way, or did
Interesting.
I even see him that way.
Yeah.
Um, I think the way I used it, I mean, who knows? The tone I used, the phrasing I used,
Sure.
something,
Yep.
right, had him clock that it was Hannah and I from the start, which it was. I think what I was trying to convey was that we can rely on Hannah's vote
Yeah.
because I trust her.
Yeah.
But the way I phrased that, I think, tipped him off and said, well, nope, we're flipping this,
Interesting.
right?
Yeah.
So no, I really didn't see him as just a number. There may have been a part of me in the, early on that was that way. But once we were down, the three of us were there. I felt really connected to the three of us,
Yeah.
me, Hannah, and Ty. Um, so yeah,
Interesting.
that's the short answer.
Yeah,
But
that's really interesting because you only get Ty's perspective, right? Because the winners write history, but like yeah, from his perspective, totally, it was that you were saying to him that he's kind of on the outside looking in of the group, and he didn't want to be a part of that. But the fact that that wasn't your intent at all is really interesting, and yeah, speaks to how
yeah, truly.
how fully perception is reality in a game like this. All it takes is a phrasing that's less than ideal, and that's
Exactly
the difference
right.
for you. Yeah,
Because it really was on the other side. And that first time we went to tribal, Ty was the vote. I
yeah,
got it off of him. That's why I was so shocked. I was like, bro,
sure,
I got the votes off of you.
yeah, yeah,
You were going home. Now you really weren't because you had the idol. But
right,
had you not had
yeah.
the idol, like you were about to get all those votes.
I'm
And
yeah.
then to come around, to turn around and then to have that experience, I was like, damn, I got.
Can you just speak a little bit about that first Orange Tribal Council, and namely the idol play? Was there any obviously the look of shock from everybody on the bench when that was played was
Yes,
immense.
that was priceless.
Yeah, one of my favorite moments of the season so far is how
same.
everybody is totally shocked. Did that impact? Because normally sometimes somebody makes a big move and then the target lands on them, but we don't hear anything immediately afterwards of Ty being in the crosshairs afterwards. I don't know, was there anything about the way that was played or the circumstances that kind of kept the heat off of him initially?
Honestly, no. Like for me, what you just said is so true. Like I
Yeah,
had the same thought. None of us had this big moment of, oh, let's put the target on Ty. Look
yeah,
how much of a threat he now is. I was just like, okay, he's on. We're together. I love that move.
yeah,
He can play. He's one of us, so that works well for the for the tribe. I truly never had a thought of him kind of being my enemy or being more of a target because of that.
right,
I was surprised. That was an honest reaction. I
yeah,
had no clue. Like that was totally candid. So yeah, man, it was strange. It did not change my view of him in that light in any way. If
yeah.
anything, it made me want to be more connected and us work together.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, my favorite part of that whole thing is when Hannah's like, I carried that around all day.
Yes,
It's
yes.
so good.
Oh, I caught that. I loved it.
Yeah. Okay, just a couple more things here and we can wrap up. I'm interested in your perspective and what if you had won that immunity challenge, which you come really close to doing. Obviously
Gosh, I
yeah,
know.
would have saved you this round. Do you think anything changes from that initial plan you had set up of splitting it on Sam and Dan? Do you think that carries out, or do you think maybe you approach that differently with immunity?
Dude, I think it carries out. I've
Yeah.
thought about this so many times
Yeah.
because truly I had trust in Ty. I did not want to break that up. I loved that we had this moment where Anna was able to help us flip the numbers. And I was like, let's just keep rolling with it.
Mm-hmm.
Anna had won my trust over at that point. So I would have said, hey, she's with us. Let's do the 2-2 split.
Mm-hmm.
Dan is a funny one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk about Dan for just a second
Yes.
because obviously you see the first time we go together, he flips on me
Yep.
and he has to do damage control, which he truly did, man.
Yeah.
He was doing so much damage control,
Yeah.
but I respected it. Like truly, even though he betrayed me, the way he carried through on the conversations and came back to me and shared that bit of information like he mentioned in the episode about his alliances and
Right.
I believed him and he truly I was ready to give him another chance, which obviously I did, and then I
Yeah.
learned that he voted Sam. He stayed with us, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So Dan was kind of a funny one. So all that to say, had I won immunity, had we gone back in, and boy, do I wish I won that immunity challenge so
Yeah.
bad. I truly think we still would have kind of run that out,
Mm-hmm.
done the 2-2. Yeah, and at that point we would have seen how it played out. But
Yeah.
I think we would be able to do it, and that probably would have meant that Sam would have gone,
Yeah,
because at that point Dan was kind of somebody that I saw as a number down the road, and that
right.
we could have worked together.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that even if everything else plays out the same way, like I don't think Ty, and we can ask Ty at some point, like would Ty have considered the same move but made Hannah the target? Like I don't know. That doesn't feel like necessarily it was. It's something that he would have entertained at that point. Like seemed to be
Yeah,
more you as the target. So
that's true. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's a good point. It really may have been, had I made the same type of comment,
yeah.
he may have just, yeah, flipped it on Hannah, and
Yep.
then, yeah, that would have
Yep.
sucked.
I guess we'll never know.
That's right. That's right. It's a good question though.
So, anything else from the first handful of episodes here that you've identified? I know that you've got your list of mistakes. Is there anything we didn't get to, or any other comments or reactions to anything we've seen so far?
I think I got all the stuff that I've shared, the
Mm-hmm.
4 auditions, making Ty feel like an outsider. I think it's funny watching the footage of Ty and how much he was running around with the idol, and
Right.
I think so. One mistake I had listed was just not to get too comfy at camp and take your eyes off people for too long.
Sure.
Like I think it worked. Like we were so bored at that point that it was genius of him to get us playing that frisbee game. I had no
Yeah.
idea that was him, but dude, I was dialed in. I was like, yeah, let's play a game.
Uh huh.
But I think like you gotta just stay aware. The whole time you really got to stay aware.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to say, two other points that I made. I want to mention.
Yep.
One was I had already shared this in the Discord chat. But the miscommunication between Sky and I, dude, that was not me just trying to throw her under the bus,
Yeah.
and like it was not gameplay. It was truly me thinking it was her gameplay.
Yeah.
I truly thought she had told me as we were walking in. We had just met. Like this was literally seconds into the game.
Uh huh.
And she kind of elbowed me as we're walking in the group, and she secretly said, she whispered to me and said, "Everyone thinks that I'm so dumb, and everyone thinks I don't know anything, but I do."
Really? That's
And
funny.
something in that, whatever the exchange was, maybe she said different words, maybe
Yeah.
I heard it differently, right? But something in that exchange told me, oh, she's trying to build trust with me.
Yeah.
She's telling me part of her gameplay. So that actually worked for me at first. I was like, oh, I'm gonna like work with this girl. And
Mm-hmm.
then of course, cut to her being a loose cannon and strategizing like
Right.
crazy and
Right.
running to like 10 different plans to 10 different people.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyways, that was a total miscommunication. So I thought that was really funny the way that played out.
Yeah, it's really
Um,
you don't see Sky post her return to the game because we go into the swap and she's on the other tribe. But like
right.
the way that she like learns immediately from her mistakes is like really really clear to me, and I think really cool to track. Like in this,
Oh,
the Anna vote in that same episode, her energy is
yes.
totally different. She's like taking a back seat.
Yes.
And I think that's really impressive to so immediately and quickly kind of learn, because you're totally right. Like that first orange vote, you say it, Hannah says it, like everybody says it. It's like she's just everywhere all the
Oh,
time.
she had so many plans. I was like,
Yeah.
girl, how am I supposed to lock in with you when you've got 10 plans going?
Right.
Because I truly did. Like we connect, and you could even see it in all the banter back and forth. We were
Right.
frenemies, right?
Yep.
Like we were absolute enemies, but we were giggling every time we had the
Yep.
chance,
Yep.
because it was just so funny the
Yeah.
way our relationship played out. But yeah, no, I mean, those were the biggest things, man. Obviously,
Cool.
we could talk for
I know.
hours
I
about
know.
how much content I still have in my brain,
Yeah.
but I do think that one of the things I would tell future players, you asked me about the advice,
Yeah.
and the first thing that came to my mind was like, just start playing right away.
Mm-hmm.
Like don't share too much too soon, and don't underestimate someone, even if everything in you says they're not taking it serious.
Yeah.
Because those are the people who are playing.
Yeah,
But
that's a really good point. And it's like one of the things that's been so like salient to me watching this back and like editing through it is because of the accelerated pace of the game. Like you're totally right. Like at first the game starts from moment one. Like, and in a show like Survivor, it actually behooves you to not be the first one kind of like, I don't know, playing super hard. But in a
right,
game like Outlast, it's almost the inverse. Like I still think you probably don't want to be the one like running around in the woods finding an idol immediately, but like if you're playing too far back, that's like easy fodder, right? And
Yes.
similarly,
Yes.
like it takes in a smaller format or a shorter window, there's less time to like put your foot in your mouth and damage control a mistake. Like kind of one, like, as you experienced, one misstep is really all it takes to
I'm
sink a
truly.
game.
Yeah.
So,
It really is.
yep.
It really is. So fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, it's been fun. Yeah, really appreciated having you on the show. I'm yeah, really glad you were a part of it. Obviously bummed for you that it didn't last longer. I know that you probably wanted more out of it, but yeah,
That's right.
really
Yeah, I
glad
mean,
to have had
honestly,
you.
I've said this to all the other players as we've connected. Well, we've all kind of shared the same sentiment of just how much it consumed our minds for the weeks after we
Right.
left. I mean, dude, the amount of conversations I had with players, phone calls, I would be pacing up and down my street. My neighbors are like, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, listen, I'm just chatting. I got a lot to chat about.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
there was one day on that Sunday or Monday after everyone got home. I mean, it was just phone call after phone call. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
I just
Uh-huh.
met these people 48 hours ago,
Yeah.
and I'm having full blown therapy sessions on the phone, you know?
Right, right. It's
It was
really
wild.
it's really wild like the parallels between this and like an actual survivor,
Hmm.
experience. Obviously,
Oh,
yeah, not to the same extent. Like I hope that players of Outlast don't need actual like post traumatic stress like counseling,
right,
but like short
right.
of
Well,
that, there's a lot
Anna
similar.
might need some help.
Yeah, yeah. God love her.
She said, I don't know if I'm going to trust again. I'm
I
like, girl,
know,
I feel you.
I
I
know.
feel
Yeah.
you.
All right. Well,
But
again, yeah. Thanks for hopping on the call. Appreciate your input, and
of course.
yeah, thanks again for being a part of it.
Yeah, thanks for all the work you guys are doing. It's
Of
been so
course.
fun.
Yeah, been tons of fun to do. Okay, I'm here with Anna, the one of two players eliminated here in episode 5 to talk about her reaction in response to the episode. So, Anna, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Happy to. Oh my gosh, I'm excited to talk about it and yeah,
Yeah.
unpack the episode.
Yeah. So, I think a great place to start, just then broadly, what's been like your reaction so far to watching these episodes live, right? Like, is there anything that you saw that didn't see when it was happening that was interesting, or any just like broad reaction to seeing it back here on TV?
Yeah, oh my gosh. Well, the editing and everything is amazing. It's like it's crazy
Thank you.
seeing yourself on like what feels like TV, you know?
Right, right.
It's like, oh my gosh, even my daughter was watching. She's like, "That's mama." It's like, "Oh wow." Yeah, and then watching every angle of yourself and is yeah, just like,
Totally.
"Okay, that's what." Yeah. But
Yep.
aside from that, lots of things I feel like, that I had no idea that were going on. And then it's really cool to
Yeah.
see the other tribe too and see what's going on over there and just like see all the conversations and how things came to be. That didn't
Hmm.
make much sense, especially me getting voted out. I had no idea that was going to be coming. So, yeah, it's
Yeah.
been really cool to see everyone's perspective and then see everybody's personality in the confessionals too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So regarding your vote, then, like, what, um, as far as like, I'm trying to remember myself, like the explanation, it seemed from namely like Isaac and Emily, where maybe there was a little bit of hesitation from you in the first vote, which we do see in the show where as you're walking in, I think you and Emily talk for a second about who you're voting for. Yeah, how much did that, like, I don't know, come up for you as even a thing when you were out there? What was that like a surprise to you watching it back?
Well, no, I think everyone who knows me knows I'm not the most decisive person. Um, so it's not a huge surprise. I think a lot of what I didn't get to show like my tribe and the audience really is like the strategy that I was going with and like
Yeah.
describing that. I tried to make the confessionals really fun and like talk about things that were going on, but didn't get into as much strategy.
Yeah.
Um, but I think I did a little bit in like maybe episode 2 of kind of describing like I'm trying to lay low and make people think I'm not a threat.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think my whole strategy for the game really pretty much backfired was the issue. But yeah, once I had already started, I couldn't really change it. It felt like I think if I had had more
Yeah.
time, definitely could have, or more votes to just show like um, people on my tribe or people I was working with, how we could work together. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think what maybe I didn't explain that well was that was really my strategy going with Orange.
Mm-hmm.
Is that I got there, I'm like, okay, I'm a big Survivor fan. I don't really want to come out like swinging with all this like knowledge of Survivor and make people want to vote me out first.
Yeah.
But then I get to Orange and there's just all these big personalities like
Right.
just everyone's really loud talking mostly, it's like okay, like
Uh-huh.
I don't know if this is going to work because I'm trying to kind of fade into the background a little bit. Maybe
Uh-huh.
we can then we'll want to vote out people who are taking the lead on things first, and then I can kind of reveal more of this like strategy side or, you know,
Right.
do that. But yeah, so that didn't work out, unfortunately. But I think it could have with a different tribe, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we just had so much time at the beginning. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it was just like, oh, what is going on? We're like
Yeah.
just sitting around in a circle chatting and then
Right.
it's like okay, I'm like I like making friends, I love chatting and talking, and then I'm also like I want to play
Totally.
Outlast
Yeah,
like
totally.
so it felt just like this odd line to toe of all those like times where we weren't going to tribal, we were winning, so
Yep.
that was fun to win. And then also just like sitting there, it felt kind of like a ticking time bomb, honestly, because it's like,
Totally.
okay, we're going to vote someone out soon. Like,
Yeah.
clearly that's going to happen. They're not going to let us, like, steamroll the whole other tribe before we go to merge. Like, a twist or something's probably going to happen. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I mean, I was trying pretty early on to, like, talk to people. Well, not like definitely talking to people socially, but then
Yeah.
trying to just put in a little bit of game here and there. And I think even Isaac had a few confessionals where he said that, like, I was trying to do like
Mm-hmm.
temperature checks, see what people were thinking. And it was just like, oh, nothing.
Right.
So I'm like,
Nothing.
nobody seems to really want to work with me. I didn't know if I'm like, people must be talking.
Yeah.
So I got that feeling of like, oh, nobody wants to work with me for some reason. I don't know why. I'm like ally for
Interesting.
sale, like
Right.
like
Right.
alliance member. I'm ready. Like
Yeah.
here's
Yeah.
my
No,
loyalty. Like
yeah.
yeah, trying really hard, but nobody wanted to take me up on it for some reason. Like
Right.
I tried with Emily and Cody was like
Right.
seemed on board, but I think Cody was kind of on board with everyone. It looks like
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
at least, offering that to everyone.
Yeah.
And like Emily says later in this episode, like you're not going to say no, which yeah,
Yeah.
I understand that. But yeah, she was very hesitant to talk to me about games. So it was
It's
like,
interesting.
yeah, it was just odd. It felt like I don't understand why no one wants to work with me or
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you started there because it was a thing that I wanted to hear about, and I'm glad that we did. But like those, I think those first few rounds of Orange not going to tribal, like, and the stir craziness that starts to build is like a pretty big instigator to what happens in this middle part of the show, right? With like
Yeah.
episodes 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you guys are like ready to do stuff. And so
Yeah.
it leads to some of these, particularly this episode's vote, where you've got two oranges being eliminated despite having like number majorities on each tribe. So I'm glad you brought that up. I'm also interested in, you kind of talked about this a little bit, but like it sounded like in early Orange you had, touch points with just about everyone, maybe except for like Adam and Sky. I don't know. But did you have like a group or a person that you were most interested in like actually working with from the start?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I talked to everyone individually at different
Yeah.
points to try to feel out like, okay, are they willing to work with me? I'm interested in working with them. I think this is where a little indecisiveness came through because I think probably a better strategy, and I think we know this from regular Survivor too, is you kind of just have to pick someone and
Mm,
go with it. Like get that number one
yeah.
person and get that like solidified at least as best as you can, or at least what you think is solidified from your
Yeah.
end, pretty close to immediately, especially in like an accelerated game like this. And I think that was a big mistake I made.
Mm,
I was just trying to like see, okay, who can I work with, who wants to work with me, get feelers out. But I honestly think if I did it again, I would really try to just find someone
hmm.
and like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
Be
I
be
think
final two.
an interesting thing, like, and I've mentioned this a few times, I think on the recap, is like when I was setting up tribes, like before the show started, other than trying to like separate people who knew each other, the biggest thing that I was clocking is that there's like four women who are total gamers, and you, Elizabeth, Abby, and Hannah, right? And like to this point in the show, and I was like imagining, okay, how would these people kind of like interact with each other? And obviously, I had to separate you and Elizabeth because obviously you're friends. But like, anyway, all this to say is, I like Elizabeth and Abby to this point are like working well together, kind of like clocking each other and being like, yeah, I want to work with them. But I feel like you and Hannah never kind of had that moment, and I selfishly was like, man, a Cody, Hannah, Anna situation at Orange would have been a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. I totally see that. Um, yeah, I don't know what I think what made me nervous about Hannah was like, okay, she like instantly stuck the tree mill in her
Right.
bra.
Right.
And then I think I said that in a confessional too, like brought that
Yeah.
up. It was like, and then she just like told us like, "Hey, I did this." And so she was going with the like, "Hey, this is who I am. This is how I'm gonna play," and just like
Yeah.
putting it out there. And I was not.
Yeah.
And
Fair.
that was kind of leaning into that strategy. So I don't know if she wasn't that interested in working with me.
Hmm.
And we just really didn't have much time, like to talk game.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
it was so
You had
weird.
tons of time. You
Yeah, we
just
had
didn't
so
use
much
it to
time.
talk game.
Yeah, yeah. I think it felt like, okay, the first one who does it obviously is gonna
Yeah.
be the one. And I felt like I'd be an easy vote out first. For
Sure.
some reason. I don't know. I think everyone's always nervous about that. Like, you don't want to get
Yeah.
voted out first.
Yeah.
But just, yeah, I think I was just nervous to be that one to just like step out of that kumbaya
Hmm.
stage because everyone
Yeah.
was saying, "Oh, we're gonna stay orange strong. We're gonna stay orange strong. We're gonna get green out. It's gonna be
Yeah.
great." And I think that helped with like tribe morale for sure.
Hmm.
But I mean, we see this on like regular Survivor all the time. Like it doesn't happen a
Right.
lot.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you start getting annoyed with people or on the longer term 26-day show, but I don't think
Hmm.
people were really annoyed with each other in our tribe. We didn't have that long.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just yeah, it felt like okay, whoever and it's Sky and Adam actually were the first two to
Hmm.
clearly start talking.
Yeah.
And so that I don't think was 100% captured by what we saw. I mean, you can't get everything. So basically
Yeah.
they started talking very clearly together. Like they'd go off and chat together. And so
Hmm.
I think that is what ended up leading to that first vote being them because they were
Yeah.
very clearly a two. And then we
Yeah.
knew they
No,
knew
that's
each
good.
other from outside. And so that is why like Cody and I started talking about Sky and Adam
Hmm.
very early on in that first that first tribal. But
Yeah.
yeah, so once I saw my strategy of like trying to work with people and build a strong alliance, like a small, ideally you can make this like onion alliance, right? Like, okay, we've got a 2, then we got a
Right.
4, and we got a 6. Great. Well, that was
Yep.
definitely not
Yep.
working. So I'm like,
Right.
okay, well, I'm just going to try to cause as much chaos as possible and like
Totally.
stir the tribe a little bit, and hopefully people don't see that. So
Mm-hmm.
Sky and Adam are off in the corner. I'm like, oh my gosh, what are they doing? And then it looked like they were like reading something. Like now we know
Oh,
they
interesting.
weren't, but
Yeah.
it really looked like they were reading something. And so I'm like, what are they like? Does she have a clue? Does she have an idol or
Mm,
something? And so I think that's really where that came from, that Sky had an idol.
I
And
see.
so I was trying to stir that up, and
Yeah.
just really like, okay, get the target possibly off of me because clearly
Yeah.
I have nobody that's really wanting to work with me and taking me
Sure.
up on that. So yeah, so I was trying to do that, and then yeah, I think I saw that Adam was like, "Oh, I don't know about working with Anna. I got a
Mm,
weird feeling," and I felt the same way when I talked to him. I was like, "He just doesn't want to work with me."
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that helped me a little bit feel a little better about some of my reads.
Uh-huh.
But because I was like, clearly the
Yeah.
rest of
No,
them
I
weren't
think that
that
was a
great.
correct read. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna start throwing their names out there. Like they're clearly a pair. Um,
Yeah.
and then somehow that got back to them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, that was Isaac, that was Ty.
Right. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
trying to throw their names out. And then when we got to go to our first tribal, I'm like trying to push that. Ty would
Mm-hmm.
not talk to me. I really wish Emily and Ty and I maybe could have done something. That would have been fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I was really hoping to get back to Cody and Hannah to work
Right.
with them like after the tribe swap,
Yeah.
and go into merge. And yeah, like you said, I think that would be fun.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it just felt so weird. No one really wanting to, even telling me they would really work together,
Interesting.
except for Cody.
Right.
I mean, Isaac and Emily did, but it was like, I just don't really believe them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it didn't feel super genuine,
Sure.
at the time. But,
Yeah.
yeah, so I think going into our tribe swap, well, first I think Sky coming back really screwed me over
Right.
because,
Yeah, it kind
we,
of kind of screwed over most of the Orange tribe, I think.
yeah, yes, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it was like, yeah, because we were really trying to separate that pair, because they were the only
Mm-hmm.
clear pair we had in
Yeah.
orange. And then them like Sky coming back, getting swapped with Adam.
Right.
And then here I
Yeah,
am
the luck
with
of the
them.
draw. Yeah, kind
Yeah.
of crazy.
And then actually, yeah, so Elizabeth and I, yeah, I don't know how much to talk about like personal versus game, but we're best friends.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, we're both really big fans of the game. Elizabeth has a
Mm-hmm.
lot more knowledge than I do. Like she has extensive
Yeah.
extensive knowledge. But we're both big fans of the game. So we're like we did not pregame at all. Like, we barely
Yeah.
even knew that like we knew each other were going to be playing.
Yeah.
But we did not talk about it at all. So like we don't want to break the game.
Yep.
We want it to be as close to a real survivor experience as possible. Like this might be the
Yeah.
only thing we ever get close to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, I definitely didn't go in thinking like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna get to Elizabeth and we're gonna be an alliance,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like clearly I knew like, okay, she's probably willing to work with me,
Right.
and like, but it also kind of felt like, oh, this is hard. Like one of our
Yeah, it's tricky.
yeah, yeah, one of our challenges where we had to do the knock the idol off the pole,
Yeah.
that we were drawn first together,
Yes.
and I was
Yeah.
just in such shock that you were literally like, Anna just stood there. I'm like, I know.
Yeah, yeah, she just kind of walked over and knocked it off and
I
it
was
was
like,
over.
yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like I'm
Yeah, what are we
staring in the
doing?
face of my best friend.
Right,
I'm
right.
like, okay, game, and then it was
Yeah,
done. So
funny.
yeah, but so that kind of might help understand some of the dynamics there. But yeah,
Uh-huh.
so swapping with her, and then clearly one of her number one allies in Abby,
Right.
and then Sky and Adam. Sky, who we just voted out, who
Uh-huh.
is back with a vengeance.
Right. Right.
Adam, who's never going to work with me. They're a pair, and then Emily and Isaac. And so, yeah, but I just never in my life imagined that I would be the vote. It just makes no
Yeah.
sense to me strategically. Like,
Yeah.
I had literally like no idea. Like, I think first one back that got pulled for confessional after we did the immunity challenge for this round was Elizabeth because she
Mm-hmm.
won. And then I got
Mm-hmm.
pulled and I was like came back and it was me. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what?"
Yeah.
Like what is going on? Because
Yeah.
I never expected it like not in like a cocky way, but just like this doesn't make any sense to me. Like I
Right.
don't feel like I'm a threat. Um, like there's Adam and Sky, there's Abby and Elizabeth. Like they're
Yeah.
clearly a pair. Emily has her sister on the other tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Like this just like everyone
Yeah.
clearly had pairs of those, options. And I never imagined they would go for me.
And I think that's it, like that you just said it, and that by not having kind of like a hard, pair to go with you, like there wasn't that person who was gonna go to bat for you in the same way that everybody else did in the tribe at that time. And I don't know, that may have been all it took.
Yeah, that makes sense for sure. Yeah.
But
I
yeah, it was definitely felt like one of those. Well, you got to pick a name, and this is what we've got, sort of
it
feelings.
definitely was sort of felt like a hive mind mentality of like,
Yeah,
okay, if someone said Anna, we're gonna do Anna,
yeah,
getting her
and it's
out.
not me, and that's fine. Yeah,
Yep, yeah, it kind of just felt like that. And yeah, it helped to see the other conversations for sure to help understand that.
yep.
I think Adam was telling me like I was trying to do this for to gain favor with Elizabeth and Abby, and I'm like,
Hmm.
well, like I mean, people don't know this stuff, but I'm like, okay, even just in the game, even if I didn't know Elizabeth, I'm definitely willing to flip with her and Abby and work with
Right,
them
right.
because at this point, no one on Orange is working with me. So
Yeah,
I would have totally voted with Isaac and Emily, Abby and Elizabeth to break up Sky and Adam.
sure.
To me, that made so much sense because Adam and Sky were so clearly after
Yeah.
everybody on Orange. Like they do not trust anyone. They're gonna flip eventually. They're gonna try to get Orange out.
Hmm.
So yeah, it just made no sense to me why Emily and Isaac would go
Yeah,
with Sky and Adam versus me.
yeah.
It's very clear from the episode, I think, that they thought they had repaired with Sky and Adam
Mm,
at that
yeah,
point and so that they could work with them, I think. But
yeah,
it was yeah, kind of my understanding of it now at this point after seeing that. But yeah, it was yeah, shocking to me.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so
Clearly.
yeah, and I was like kind of trying to listen. People are like, okay, we're vote. Isaac said we're voting Abby. I'm like, okay. And then on the other hand, I'm like, okay, well, you know, I wonder if I can go with them with Elizabeth
Hmm.
and Abby, and then you know, work to get someone else out of
Yeah,
this while we have the opportunity, Adam and Sky. Probably
yeah,
shouldn't have said that looking back. Probably should have just said, okay, we'll vote Abby.
sure.
But yeah, I don't think they ever intended to vote Abby anyway. So yeah,
Interesting. Yeah,
it was hard to, yeah, I don't know why. It was
yeah.
so frustrating because even talking with Emily, she's like, well, I want to give them a chance. I'm like, what? Like,
Right,
why?
right.
Like
Yeah.
you like, I'm here, give me a chance. Like
Uh
I've
huh.
shown you I'm gonna vote with you and, be loyal to you as much as I can. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
all that just really came into play and
Totally.
yeah, it
No, that's
just
that's good. Yeah, yeah. I appreciate the recap. Yeah, there's a lot going on, and you don't always see all of it, and even the episode doesn't capture all of it. So yeah, that's good. Last thing here before we wrap up, just imagining if another season of Outlast happens, and any listeners here are interested in playing from your experience out there, do you have any advice or thoughts for, people who may be involved in a future season?
Yeah, for sure. Do it. It's fun. Like
Yeah.
you should sign up for it and do it. Especially if you love Survivor. I mean, it's really fun. And also realizing like, okay, this is a game and
Yeah.
a lot of people are gonna lose. Um, but also just like trying to be, yeah, I don't know that I can give that much advice, but I think I would give the advice to be more loyal and try
Mm-hmm.
to set up those relationships early, even if you are in the winning tribe. Because like stepping out, showing somebody you're willing to be their ally early, I think
Yeah.
means a lot, versus kind of waiting for the game to start.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so even if you're that first person to step out, I think it could be worth it.
Yeah.
Um, Depending on your tribe dynamics. But yeah, I think so. And then also just do your best to not let personal dynamics get into the game because if people don't
Right.
know those things, it kind of breaks it. I think there was
Yeah.
some of that where we didn't know people had relationships from
Yeah.
orange with green. They were trying to get to them eventually and make an alliance. It's so frustrating. Like,
Sure.
yeah, let's not break the game. Let's play this like we would on regular Survivor. Um, and,
Mm-hmm.
make it as genuine of an experience as possible, and have fun
Totally. Yeah.
for sure. I think,
Awesome.
yeah.
Great. Well, yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining us here. Thanks for playing. Loved having you out there. Um, yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah. If you ever do returning players, I want to come back.
For sure. Yeah. I do hope if this keeps going, returning player things will have to happen for sure.
That'd be so fun. Yeah.
Cool. Well, to the listeners, remember if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel here, make sure to do that. And the link to the email list where other announcements happen is in the description as well. I don't know if this is going to end the episode or if Cody's will, so it might be the same thing said both times. But in either case, we'll be back a week from today with more Outlast next Monday. Thanks for listening.